Hello, hello, and welcome to the third edition of our weekly office hours. Okay, let's give this a couple of minutes to see if someone is going to actually jump in and enjoy this show live. I want to remind you about subscribing to our channel. This helps us a lot to grow our channel, and it helps you to don't miss future office hours. The plan is to have a conversation with all of you live about questions you might have, or maybe even feature requests, stuff like that. And apart from this, every week we plan to, or we have some specific topic to talk about. And this week we are going to teach you and show you how to connect a Google form. Google Forms are free, which is the first good reason to choose Google Forms. It has a ton of features that gets you started, and so you can use Google Forms to basically create captured leads, or even add cards, let other team members add cards to your Trello board powered with Crmble without even having to access the Trello board. So that is what we are going to show you today. So yeah, hello, SNS Painting, welcome. Welcome. Yeah, so we are going to start in a couple of minutes. We are celebrating today, by the way. We reached a huge milestone, 100,000 Trello boards installed. And yeah, so we are very happy, and thanks to all of you, thanks to your support, and thanks to your feedback and yeah, and comments, we made it this far. So very happy. Okay, so yeah, I want to give a couple of minutes just in case somebody else wants to or is going to jump in before we start. I'm going to check here. Well, I'm followed today again, like the last 2 weeks, by my colleague Christina. Christina, she is the CTO. Nothing could be achieved without her planning everything so nicely and helping us getting things done here inside of Crmble. So she's going to help me out just in case more people joins the chat. And while I'm showing you how to connect the form and get stuff done with Crmble, she's going to keep an eye on the chat. So, okay, so I think we can get this started. So I'm going to start sharing my screen, and we are going to start with step number 1, which is installing Crmble very quickly. So here I'm using here a demo user, a Google demo user. In this case, the user is called Cameron Bakewell. Okay, so that's me now, Cameron Bakewell. And this user is logged into Trello, as you can see. And in Trello, I always want to remind users about the fact that you have this home section, which will show you in a chronological order all the tasks you might have set a due date on, so that you can start working on them in a chronological order. And as you can see, I have here 3 workspaces, and I'm going to create a new workspace, a new board on this workspace I just created that I called my B2B. Okay, so very quickly, I'm going to call this leads, if I can spell leads correctly, okay? And very easy, that's my board. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to install Crmble, and therefore all you have to do is click on the Power Ups button, add Power Up, and then search for CRM Crmble. There we go. And there we go here. As you see, 100,000. So proud about this. Okay. So yeah, here all you have to do is once you click on Crmble, you click on Add Power Up, and you click on Add Power Up again. And it will take a couple of minutes till you see this screen. So here comes an important part. If it's the first time you install Crmble, you will only, you won't see this. With this user, I have created already in the past some other workspaces in Crmble that we call Crmble teams. In this case, I'm going to create a new one. And by the way, Crmble pricing works on a Crmble team level. So you can have several different Crmble teams. Each of those Crmble teams will manage its own contact database and will have its own set of Trello boards linked to it. The reason for having these multiple Crmble teams is basically because sometimes you simply might want to have databases separated for different businesses. So for each independent contact database, you would want to create a Crmble team, separate Crmble team, and every Crmble team has an independent license activation. So you can have one Crmble team with 2 licenses, which can power an unlimited number of boards. You can have a second Crmble team for another business with just, let's say, 1 license. So different pricings depending on the size of your team, the size of your different businesses. So here I'm going to call this Crmble team Cameron Leads. And you can answer these questions or not. We don't force you. It's nice if you tell us so that we know more about you. All you have to do is click on continue, and now you can choose from 4 different templates. What this will basically do is add a number of lists to your board, which would represent the touch points of your sales funnel. So I'm going to go with this one, with CRM and sales pipeline. I'm going to click on Add Template, and then I'm going to let Crmble do its thing and add these lists to the board. And this takes a couple of seconds. And right after that, congrats, setup complete. Just refresh the page to wrap up the installation. So let's do this. I'm going to click on the reload icon here at the top left corner of my browser. And now I can close this. So there we go. This is my brand new board. I can zoom out a little bit so that you can see the different lists that would represent my stages. The first list is just information links to help videos to get you started with Crmble. I'm going to archive this for the moment. You can click on the 3 dots menu icon here and scroll down, archive this list. Okay, to keep everything nice and clean. Okay, so now let us start with the fun part. Once you do this, you want to make a quick checking. What I did here very quickly is I clicked on the muffin icon, which will open the Crmble app. And I always like to check in the settings. So here, as you see, fairly simple settings. The first tab of the settings will show you the lists on your board. And it's important to make sure that all your lists are actually connected with Crmble. This should show up connected, but sometimes there can be some sort of miscommunication between the Crmble and Trello server. At the moment, I'm doing this on a Wi-Fi and maybe the connection was not stable enough. So I always suggest it's a good practice to make sure that your lists are actually connected with Crmble so that Crmble can keep track of what's going on. And the second thing I want to point out is to make sure that you select a default list to add your new deals. This, especially when you are planning to connect through integrations, any third-party service, as we are going to do in this case. So now that I'm happy with this, all my lists are connected, and I have selected the new leads list, which happens to be my first stage on the board, as you can see, new leads. I'm going to archive these example cards, which are just there to show you how they look like, what you can see on the front. I can't stress enough how customizable Crmble is. So you can decide what Crmble fields you actually want to see on the front of the cards and stuff like that. Everything happens again in settings. Again, settings, you open Crmble, you go to settings, and you can go to contact fields, deal fields. You can use these switches here to make sure that you can actually see the creation date inside the card. If you want to see this detail in the front of the card, all you have to do is just activate this. And the new cards will show this creation date in the front of the card. Okay, so now that we have installed Crmble, we are going to jump over to creating a Google form. Very simple. So I have a new tab open here, and because I'm connected with my Google account, all I have to do is click on the dots menu here and jump over to, let's see, where is it? Oops, I didn't want to do that. I'm going to jump over to forms if I can find it. Here it is, forms. There we go. Okay, and I have already a contact form. The nice thing about Google Forms is that you have some templates to start from. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to pick again this contact information to make sure that we start with a brand new form. I'm going to give this a different color, maybe orange. There are a ton of different settings you can tweak and change to make this look and feel as close as possible to your branding. And even when you finished publishing your form, it's quite easy to embed this form in your web page, or maybe add a link to, let's say, any campaign you are running on a social media. So the possibilities are endless. So you got to choose what works best. You can also add a link to the form on an email campaign. So the idea behind this is that you can use this as a very nice and quick way to create cards on your Trello board powered with Crmble to stay on top of these leads. So for every form submitted, you will have a card that you will see in a couple of minutes, how you can start working with the card to make sure that the person that has submitted the form will actually get reply, and you stay connected with them, and you make sure the person gets all the information required. Okay, so yeah, let's just call this lead form. And I'm going to stay with these fields. As you see, you have the possibility with the plus icon, add question here, to add more fields. Fields like email are predefined in a way that you can make sure that there is a specific mask for this email field to make sure that users are actually going to write an email address. So you can validate email addresses. So nice options here for free, no limitation in responses. So when you feel you're happy with your form, and let's say we are happy with what we see here, all you have to do is publish the form. And we can leave this as is. Anyone with the link can visit the form and use it. I'm going to publish this. And by clicking on the preview icon here, you can actually go and fill out the first form. You can also change the banner here. So now that we have our form in place,